So this is the new Model 3 Refresh, Highland, whatever you want to call it. And today we're gonna go ahead and take this for a test drive, and I'm gonna share with you my thoughts on this build. Let's go ahead and dive into it. All right guys, welcome back. So right now I am sitting in the new Model 3, and as you can see, we're gonna take this for a test drive. I was able to do a demo drive with Tesla here in Naperville, Lyle, and so let's see what all the fuss is about. And so initially, of course, the first thing I'm sure you've already noticed in this is the new steering wheel. It no longer has the stalks on the left and right. It is integrating what we have on the Model S and the Model X as far as the buttons for your turn signals and Viper controls, mic, all that stuff. So I literally just drove it one block to get into the Amazon parking lot, and I can already tell the ride quality on this is better. Now, if you're joining for the first time, just know that I have a Model S Plaid, a Model X, and a Model S Performance, and I have driven the Model 3 standard range and long range as well. This one is not a dual motor, it is a standard range, so it's got rear wheel drive, 0 to 60 in 5.8 seconds. The long range is 4.2 seconds, and they do not have a performance variant for this quite yet, so that'll probably be coming out later on. So let's go ahead and do a quick test drive and get an additional feel of what everything is. One thing I do want to check is the blind spot. So for all of us that have been waiting for a blind spot monitor, I'm okay without it. It would be nice to have it, but this does actually have it. So that little red light that came on is the blind spot monitor, like in other cars. Let's take a look at, again, the buttons here. So if you are new to not having stock, this is going to take some time to get used to, as it did for me when I first got the Model S. You got your turn signals here, you've got your windshield wipers here, you got your controls, your wheels, scroll wheels right in the middle here. And if you missed that red light, there it is, right next to the mirror there. Okay, going back to the control here. The one thing I do like is this one does have the horn in the middle, whereas the previous Model S and Model X, the horn was kind of like, actually it was on the right side, yeah, right over here. So it was kind of weird. I still have not gotten used to it, but here we do have it in the middle, and they did include that in the Model S and X for 2024 model years. So real quick, I do want to check if that turn signal monitor is on, and I apologize guys, I'm kind of going from back and forth, but it does blink to indicate there is a car there, versus it being a complete solid when you're not turning. Okay, sorry, going back, I just have a lot of thoughts and I'm trying to keep everything in place. I only have 30 minutes to test this car out and take it back, so I'm going to try to do as much as I possibly can. Okay, going back to the buttons, if I am comparing it to the Model S and the Model X, this actually has a little bit of a feedback, meaning it's an actual plastic button. So what happens is when you click it, you hear a little click coming out of it. I don't know if you can hear that on the mic or not, but it's an actual button, whereas in the Model S, Model X, it doesn't physically click in. So that is something different, and I kind of like this because it gives you that immediate feedback. As far as controls go, ride quality goes, this is actually pretty decent. I would say it's better than the Model 3 previously, but I gotta drive a little bit more to get a real accurate feel of it. As you guys have seen in my posts on X, I was able to actually see this car in Dubai while I was there, and get a look of basically the interior. So if you're not following me on X, make sure you follow me on X, and of course subscribe to this channel for more Tesla and other tech videos. So I'm gonna actually be quiet for a few minutes, let you guys get a sense of the interior noise on this, because it's actually quite impressive how quiet it is in here. right, we'll do another test going back, but let me quickly just turn around here and talk a little bit more about the interior of the car here. All right, looking at the screen, because you no longer have the stocks to turn into reverse drive and things of that nature, this is again incorporating what the Model S and Model X has. You simply either hit park or open the door and it'll put in park by itself. And if you hit the brake, this is where it'll give you the option to go ahead and scroll forward to drive or back to go ahead and reverse, and it'll activate the cameras. So again, same setup as a Model S, Model X. You got your blinkers up top here, and you do have your park reverse and all that control over here as well. I don't think anyone will ever hit the brake here and try to put it in park. That's just awkward when you can simply just swipe up and go into drive, reverse, whatever you need to do from these controls. Same rear view mirror, same overall interior here. This has changed a little bit. Again, same type of setup as a Model S, Model X, where previously this was a bit different on the Model 3. Cup holder is the same. Let's go and take a look at the sides here. Everything here looks the same as the older Model 3. Obviously, you've got the ambient lighting across the front and the sides here. That's going to be different. The material here seems good. A little bit softer than the previous versions, which is nice. Let me go ahead and jump on in the back. And same thing as I mentioned as far as the buttons go here. This button here also has a little bit more feedback, where the other ones didn't, I believe. And this is the Ultra Red, and I kind of like the way this looks. First, let's start off with the front. This is the part that's probably got the biggest refresh. Completely different than what it was in the previous version. The headlights look a lot more sleeker, a lot more stylish and sporty, a lot thinner than they were previously. And you'll notice, again, no fog lights here, but this look has actually grown on me. Initially when I saw this, I thought that it looks kind of odd, but looking at it now, it actually looks pretty cool. So let's go ahead and do a walk around here. Everything else on the side is literally identical to the previous version. The back is also very different. The lights are different. When I first they pulled up the car at Tesla, I realized the reverse lights are actually down here now in the bottom part of the bumper, whereas previously they were higher up. But also when you go to open this, it's actually quite interesting, because take a look. Now these actually start blinking here. You know why? Because the headlights, when they go up, they are no longer part of the actual body, where in the previous Model 3 they were. And now the whole headlight goes up, so the bottom lights actually get turned on when the trunk is open. This looks a bit empty, a bit odd to me when the trunk is open, but how often do we have the trunk open? So I think that's not a huge deal. That looks pretty cool. Let me go ahead and close this off. You'll also notice the Tesla writing here. We've seen a lot of Model 3s and Model Ys that people have done aftermarket things to, but now this actually comes stock. There is no more logo. And this seems to be the trend with other manufacturers as well. They're kind of getting away from their emblem and just actually writing the brand of the car down. So Lexus, Acura, Tesla, that type of stuff. So very nice. If you go into the car itself, this is where, again, more of the integration from the Model S and the Model X. You've got the center console here, or center display, I should say, for the rear entertainment, vents, stuff like that. One thing I do find odd is this opening here. It looks a bit strange, and I'm curious if something was to fall in there, where it would go. So something to be mindful of. That is quite a bit of an opening for things to possibly fall in, especially if you have kids. The rest of it looks pretty much the same as the previous version. The same. The doors open and close the same exact way. But looking at, again, this roof here, this is where this is new. I'm assuming that's part of the speaker or something. That was not in the previous Model 3, but it looks like they've got two different speakers here, one on each side. Not sure if the camera can pick that up, but I can actually see it where it looks like two separate speakers. Outside of that, the interior, let's take a look at that. You'll notice if I hit my brake, I can actually put the car into park, reverse, neutral, or drive here, or again, integration from the Model S, Model X type of stuff, display. You can go ahead and scroll up for drive, down for reverse, and then park there. Now, let's talk steering wheel. Here is where the biggest difference comes in. The older Model 3 and the new one here is now you actually have buttons compared to stocks. We've seen that happen in the Model S and Model X, and I know I keep saying that, but this is where a lot of the refresh on this has come from, is those two cars. And I will say, from the short drive that I've taken this actually feels the Model S and is basically Tesla's flagship car, and so it's not a fair comparison because the Model S also has air ride suspension where this one doesn't, but because a lot of the features that are being integrated into it feel like the Model S, I would say it's not a fair comparison, but it comes very, very close to the Model S as far as ride quality and noise levels in the car itself. Obviously, if you buy this, yes, you are getting all the features as far as the upgrades, the integrations that we talked about here, which you do get in the Model S and the Model X if you were to purchase that, where previously they were completely different. So it made it kind of stand out. So essentially, yes, you are getting part of the Model S and Model X in this car, but there's still quite a bit of difference as far as quality goes. This all feels great. I will still say the Model S has more premium interior, but if you look at the price point for this car as compared to that, I would say this car, for what it's being offered at, the price point, is probably one of the best cars you can buy in that price point when you think about quality. So if you're comparing it to the Model S, which is an $80,000, $100,000 car, and you're getting it for what this is, 35, 40, you know, depending on how you get it, $1,000 car, this is a greater value, if that makes sense. Okay, let me stop rambling on about that. The interior, we know that this has an ambient light. It's got a nicer interior here, a little bit smoother than the previous version, which is really nice. And overall, I mean, the rest of it looks about the same. This one's got the black interior, obviously. And so, yeah, I mean, the one thing I will say is if you are in the market for an electric vehicle, and this is your price point, you are not going to get probably a better value than what you can get in this Tesla. Keep in mind, if you are not used to having not any stocks, this will get some getting used to. But the nice thing is also, the horn is actually in the middle. That is the biggest issue I've had so far. I've had my Model S for almost a year now, and I'm still not used to having the horn here. So I'm glad that Tesla got away from that and actually put it back here in the middle for the Model 3 and the 2024 Model S and Model X, but the previous versions were here. All right, so let me go ahead and mount this back on, and I'll show you a test drive back to the service center. All right, we're gonna go ahead and drive on back to Tesla. Overall, I mean, again, I've had this car for 30 minutes, and I've tried to show as much as I can, and I apologize for my camera failure, but overall, my impressions is this is a good quality car. This, I mean, I originally thought the original Model 3 was, but this is a step up. It's a complete game changer in my opinion, and not quite the Model S, which we cannot put or compare to because it's a whole different level of a car, but it does come very close, given that there's such a big price gap between the two. This is a really good quality car. It's good value. Alright, so we are almost back at Tesla. I'm actually about 8 minutes late, so I apologize, Tesla, for not bringing the car back, but I also waited almost 20 minutes past my appointment time to test drive this thing. So hopefully I don't have anybody waiting for me to come back so they can take it for a test drive. If they are, I apologize to you as well. if you're looking for a daily driver and you're looking to get into the EV space, I would say hands down, there's nothing that I've driven that comes remotely close to the quality and the value of this car. It's simple outside of this thing that you might have to get used to not having stocks. Quality is great. Performance is great. There's really nothing that I can say negative, as much as as hard as I'm trying to figure something out that I can say, hey, Tesla missed on this. I've got nothing. So that's my personal feedback on this. We are back at Tesla. I'm gonna go ahead and check in and give their car back. Obviously here's my Model 3. Let me go ahead and park this and stop recording now. Alright, so as a side-by-side comparison of my current Model 3 performance and the refresh, here is a side-by-side comparison. Let's take a look at the headlights a little bit closer. One thing that I just noticed, there's actually a deflector in here where the previous one did not have. And the headlights, they just look really nice and sleek. Really cool. But you guys can see that in the video here. As I move my camera, it's right there. All right, so I actually just brought, you'll see in a second here, the rear wheel drive Model 3 back, and they just happen to have this one come back from a customer, which is a long range, and they asked me if I wanted to drive this one. So I don't have a whole lot of time, but I wanted to drive it and get a sense of what this one feels like. So now I'm gonna drive the dual motor one. Yeah, okay, this one is a little bit faster. As we expected. Again, as I mentioned earlier, the rear wheel drive one is 5.8 seconds, 0 to 60. This one is 4.2 seconds. So we are on standard, which is what it is in here. I'm really curious to see what they come out with for the performance variant on this. Everything else is the same. Only difference is obviously range and 0 to 60 time between the rear wheel drive and the dual motor. So this one's got one motor in the back, one motor in the front, whereas the other one that I just drove has a single motor, which is a rear wheel drive. It's in the back. But everything else is the same. I'm not gonna go far, so I'm gonna quickly turn around here. You know what? I just realized as I turned, I'm gonna have to look this up, but that turn seemed a lot sharper turning than I normally have on my Model 3. So I'll put up something on the display here as far as the turning radius, but that felt a bit different compared to my current Model 3. It felt tighter. So interesting. All right, so let's talk about if it's worth it for you to upgrade to the new Model 3. Obviously, it's a big sticker item. If you already have a decent Model 3, meaning you don't have any issues with it, you haven't driven it that much, you're not in the market for a new car, then no, of course not. This is not like a cell phone where you change it every year. But if you've been on the fence about upgrading or not, and you've got the extra cash, and obviously yes, enjoy the Model 3. If you are a first-time buyer and getting into the EV space, again, I said it before, there's probably not a car as far as a better value that you can get for this price point, this quality in a Tesla Model 3 as compared to any other manufacturer, hands down. So without hesitation, I would strongly recommend you would consider a Tesla Model 3. I've said it before, as far as the ride quality goes, the stuff they brought over from the Model S, Model X, with the buttons, the screen, the rear entertainment center, it's a no-brainer to go with this type of a car. For all of you that are thinking, and what I've also heard is this is a mini Model S, I would agree that it's a mini Model S, but it does not replace the Model S by any means. The ride quality in the Model S is still far superior, interior is much superior, but again, we're talking a $30,000–$40,000 car compared to an $80,000–$90,000 car, and it's not a fair comparison. But for the amount of features, quality you get with this Model 3, hands down, it is a mini Model S. I'll give it to you. There, boom, done. All right, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you give me a big thumbs up, subscribe to my channel if you have not already, and I will see you guys next time. Goodbye.